Boom Room, live from Youngstown Studios. I'm your Spit Bucket Man, Viking Jim, our cut man, Joe Danier. And ladies and gentlemen, usually this is where I say something smart ass, but I'm going to tell you right now, you are not going to find a better source for boxing news, sports stuff, and life lessons in general. This man is wise beyond his looks. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Mancini.
Hey, my man Vike, how about that? Thank you, everybody. Welcome to another round of the Boom Boom Room. I'm your host, Ray Mancini. Here with my corner man, Joe Danier, and my spit bucket man, as you just heard, Viking Jim. What a corner that is, huh? That's a champion's corner right there. Look, we got a very special guest today, and I got to get him at the top of the show because he's doing me a favor. But before I get to him, one thing I want to say, I made a mistake the other day. I listened to the show, and I can't believe I did this, so I apologize. I was talking about the undercard of the Canelo Triple G fight, and I said the first fight, I said Chicanito. It's Chocolatito. Chocolatito Gonzalez was the first fight. He came back. It's been his first fight back since he got beat for the title. They had rematch with the Thailander and got beat again, knocked out in the fourth round. His first fight back, he won. I said Chicanito because it was a Chicanito Hernandez, terrific fighter, world champion, and a very wonderful, wonderful guy. Not only a great fighter, but wonderful guy, and a friend of mine who unfortunately passed away from cancer several years ago. So anyhow, I did say the wrong name. So I apologize for that. But anyhow, very special guest. We're getting my top of the show right now. Ladies and gentlemen, is he online? Okay, hold on. We'll give him an intro. Gordon, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special...
Ray, can I call you on the...
Yeah,
can I call you on the landline?
You call me on the landline?
What's the landline?
Yeah, can you call...
What? I'll just call you on this number?
Yeah, call us back on this number. He calls back on this number, right? Yeah, yes.
I'm going to call you right now.
Okay, because we were I'm echoing over here. I'm echoing. Is there anything to do with him or me?
I have no idea.
Okay. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest is calling in. My friend is a boxing writer for the Wall Street Journal. He's also a boxing columnist for other newspapers. He's an author of a wonderful book that we're going to talk about. And just an all-around, this man is he's a real, a real gentleman. What's the word I'm thinking of, Gordon? I'm trying to think of a word. You're a Renaissance man. That's the word. He's a real Renaissance man. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, my good friend and very, very wise boxing man, and just a wise man, period. We're going to talk about a lot of things, and we only got about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So, my good friend, Gordon Marino. Gordon, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. It's such an honor.
No, I'm honored. I'm flattered. So first of all, Gordon, we're going to talk about the boxing stuff, then we're going to get the other stuff. First and foremost, you wrote about the Triple G. You interviewed me for the Triple G Canelo fight beforehand.
I did. You helped me out with that.
Yeah, and you wrote about the Wall Street. You write for the boxing column for the Wall Street Journal, as well as other newspapers too. I know you're a journalist. You write, and one of the better boxing writers. I must say that.
And a trainer, a boxing trainer too.
Oh, you train too? I didn't realize you trained people. I just thought you trained yourself.
Yeah, 30 years. You helped me. You one time told me helped me with a fight in which my guy was facing a left-hander. You told me.
Right.
You told me to make him use the left hook, and that really worked well.
Right. But I thought that was just you were just giving advice to a kid that you knew that you were helping. I didn't know you were actually training the kid.
No, man. I train him every day.
Oh, beautiful.
Every day.
Better yet. So there it is. So there's a guy that's in the gym, knows the boxing game. Let's talk about it, Gord. I talked about it briefly. I saw the replay on Saturday. It doesn't change my mind about the score of the fight. Very close fight, a lot of swing rounds. I thought the first 3 or 4 rounds could have went to Canelo. Middle rounds went to, 3 or 4 rounds went to Triple G. 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Middle rounds to Canelo. Then I got Triple G come back the last 3 rounds and won. So I thought it was 7-5, 116, 114. And I got to tell you, for the one judge who gave Canelo that 12th round, which I thought to me was the most exciting round. To me, that was the one round that was easiest to judge. If he gives it to Canelo like the other 2 judges, then it's a draw once again. And I got a problem. We wouldn't have been happy. We wouldn't have been pleased Wouldn't have been satisfied, but I would have understood. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I agree. I really thought he had him going in the 11th round, and he had to step. Triple G had him going in the 11th round, and then he had to step back and take a breath, and Canelo recovered. But the median was really far back this time, Ray, and so it was really hard to see the impact of punches. But when I looked at the 12th round on the YouTube in slow motion, I don't see I could give it to Canelo.
No,
I really don't.
No, and I don't look. Was it a closer fight this time? Yeah. Canelo came forward.
Yeah.
He said he would come
But
forward.
he also made all kinds of adjustments. He made a lot of adjustments.
Yes,
Ray.
he did. Yes,
I
he
mean,
did.
Remember you talked about him cutting, being able to cut off the ring. That wasn't an issue because he was there the whole time, kept his hands high, feinted a lot, he really made a lot of adjustments.
He did. More so than Triple G, there's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the difference.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about how he came forward, and he did. But here's the thing. Not once did Triple G have his back on the ropes. He came forward, but he didn't push him to the ropes. That's what you got to do. When Triple G comes forward, he pushed the first fight. He pushed Canelo to the ropes, kept him on ropes, and that's what you want.
Yeah, but Canelo stayed in the pocket this time, right?
This time he stayed in the pocket. Yes, he did.
And if anything, Golovkin would back up and get out of distance so he couldn't counter a lot of times.
I agree. Now, to me, he was doing it for two reasons. Because he was giving that jab was working overtime.
Yeah, jab was working well.
It was working well. Again, one of the things I tell people you got to look for when you look for judging is ring generalship. Who's controlling the pace of the fight? Who's controlling center ring? That was Triple G. He was going back and forth. Not once did Canelo cut him off when he was going back and forth. He was circling. He was doing ring around, as Angelo used to say, ring around the rosy. But he was coming forward. He was effective with the body shots and getting inside. The one thing I didn't see was two things I said last week, Gordon, was, first of all, a couple things that were apparent to me. Triple G wasn't getting off 3 or 4 punches, basically punching 1, 2 at a time and moving. Wasn't throwing a lot of combinations, and he looked like he got old in this fight. For every fight, that one guy gets old. There's that one fight every fighter gets old.
Ray, but one thing he did do more of, he threw more left hooks. But I thought he was using left hooks to bring him into the right hand, but the right hand wasn't there afterwards.
But
so if you're going to throw a left hook, you bring the guy's head into the right hand.
Yeah, of course.
And he was landing the left hook.
Well, that's the thing. I disagree. He wasn't landing as much as he should. I thought, look, he was throwing it. Yeah. Triple G was, Canelo was capturing on elbow, or he was slipping it. And then even a few times Triple G went to throw it, and Canelo slipped back, and he was short with it. See, because he was telegraphing his punches a little bit more this time. He was telegraphing it. Yeah. And I got that. Canelo did make adjustments, but I just still don't think he outpunched him.
Shots, Ray.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a big Canelo fan, but I got to say, he got his red badge of courage because he stayed in there and took some punches.
Oh, man. No, he got a beard. That's for sure. He showed he got a beard this fight. And he did. And he came back. He came back, like he said. I was waiting for Triple G to adjust. Somewhere in the later rounds come on. And that was my point where I think he got old in this fight, Gordon, because that 12th round, he was staggering him. Instead of turning it out and backing him up, he'd box him some more. He'd hit him 2, 3 shots, and then he'd move. He normally doesn't do it.
It's like he had to step back and take a breath a lot of times.
Yes. If you've seen, he was breathing.
Before, he would have stayed right in there, just kept that pressure on. And this time, especially in the 11th round, he hit him with some good uppercuts and stuff.
And he didn't follow up.
Then he stepped back and took a breath. He was breathing hard in the,
he was.
In the corner, I think.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was breathing hard. More so than I've seen him other fights. And that's what I said. I'm not saying he lost his killer instinct, because he hasn't. It just looks like he got old, and he's getting older. And
you always said he's overtrained, right?
And I've said that. Remember we talked about the first fight.
Right with this fight.
I said about it the first fight. He looked overtrained. He had gas in the tank, but he couldn't change speeds. It was all he had gas, but it was one speed. This time, same thing. He had gas in the tank, but he didn't. He was changing speeds a little bit, come banging him, and then. But look like you said, he
looked really gaunt, Ray. Everyone was saying at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
He looked really gaunt.
Yeah,
like really kind of tired or something.
Or maybe.
Too thin.
Well, Gordon, that's the thing about training camps. We don't really know what goes on in training camps. A lot of times a guy gets sick. You never hear about it. Guy gets sick. And he can't train for a week or so or whatever. So you never know what happens. That's why I always tell people the greatest stories are stories from training camp. I always tell a buddy of mine come up with an idea that we got to take on the road called Stories from the Corner. because you know from you know the fight stories about during the fight. A lot of people don't know the stories before the fight, and those are more interesting and more intriguing to me. So you know, he doesn't talk about it. I thought he was a gentleman afterwards, but man, I just you know.
But Abel Sanchez said it was a draw. Well, that tells you something, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, Sanchez.
It should have been a draw.
Yeah. Abel Sanchez even said that. Yeah, he said, the word it should have been a draw. That's your trainer, man. He's gonna say, no, man, we won that fight.
No kidding, man.
Yeah, we won. He does say that was kind of. I found that a little odd that Abel would come out and say, yeah, I agree with the draw.
Yeah, me too.
You know, why would you do that? You know,
and 70% of the writers had Triple G winning.
Yeah, more than half than Canelo. And as I said, even though they're sitting farther back.
Hey, Ray, do you think expectations, had anything to do with it? Because Roy Jones Jr., I don't often agree with, said that, with all this talk about I'm going to fight, Triple G is going to knock him out and all this stuff, that expectations had a lot to do with the way the fight's perceived.
Yeah, I think there was expectations the first fight where I thought everyone was expecting Triple G to knock out Canelo. That didn't happen.
Yeah, but when Canelo stood in there this time,
yes,
he got some extra points just for that.
Oh no, I agree, because he did stay in the pocket, as you said, and he was throwing banging good body shots. But I didn't see him. He like I said, he never backed Triple G up against the ropes. If you're coming forward and you're controlling the pace of the fight and controlling center ring, you're pushing that guy back. He didn't push him back. Triple G was moving back on his own. He was moving back on his own. That's what you said. He threw punches, then he stepped back. So
and he couldn't counter. But the only time he had Canelo on the ropes was in the 11th round, and that was just for a brief time.
Brief time, exactly right. And I was wondering what before he came forward, you tracked him down. This time he got to boxing, and I don't know, was he trying to counter him? That's not his game. So I agree with Gordon. We don't know. I don't think he'll come out. They're never going to come out and say, "Oh, he was sick before the fight" or anything like that. But
it was a great fight, though.
It was a very good fight. Well, look.
Was it? It was a really exciting fight.
Well, Gordon, I said this the other day. I said it was entertaining. It was a terrific fight. Great fight. I'm not saying great. Terrific fight, yeah. Great. Yeah. The great was the night before. The great was the fight when Jose Ramirez fought Antonio Zarasco on ESPN. That was a great fight. And, that was a great fight. The night before, Jose Ramirez defending his junior welterweight title. Against Antonio Rasco. That was a slam bam up for the fight of the year. So, but this was a good, entertaining fight. Yes.
Yeah, but slam bam. Some great fights involve technique. Slam bam isn't always the best fight.
No. Of course.
Like you look at something like Ron Lau versus Foreman. There was slam bam.
That's slam bam. Entertaining. Really there was no technique.
No science.
Entertaining. But what I'm talking about, Jose Ramirez and Antonio Rasco, a little different. Jose Ramirez is a technician in there. But this guy was on. And Roscoe is that guy who presses you. I've done commentary for a lot of his fights. He's a strong guy. Bangs pretty good. So that was a great fight. Styles, that was a perfect night of Styles make fights. So it really was a great fight. Gordon, before I know you got you for long, but let me ask you something. I want to talk about this book you wrote. I read it. I've talked about it. It's a great book. But just tell me a little bit about the title. Let me give it one. The title was How to Live Authentically in an Inauthentic Age.
The Existential Survival Book.
The Existential Survival Guide. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you come up with that title? Because that's a brilliant title.
I didn't. The publishers did. But the Existentials is a group of writers and thinkers who had a lot to say about everyday life, how to deal with emotions, like anxiety and depression, things like that. So they're both philosophers and novelists, mostly.
Look, I mean...
And so I've been studying these guys for about 35 years as a professor and scholar, and I figure at this time in my life, I'm 66, I ought to be able to call some of the wisdom and ask myself, what did I learn from these? And so the book's a lot about that and how they helped me get through life.
Well, you did. You're very open in this book about how you suffer from depression. And
all kinds of bad, there are all kinds of bad things on myself, right?
And I know, and you're very open about that, and I admire that about you. I've often said, I have, in mental disease is a real thing. It's a real thing, and I tell people, there's no connotation, negative connotation. If you need to see a therapist or get counseling, I advise it. Look, my children suffer. My mother suffered from it. And my daughter suffers from it. And just recently, my son was going through a bout of it. but he got himself
Yeah.
a therapist, and he's doing great now. And my daughter, she suffers from it. People don't understand. You're born with it. It's a mental condition. You're born with it. And
but also events can happen, of course,
yes,
too, right?
yeah, no,
Yeah?
you're right.
I mean, look what your mom went through, right?
Right.
And
No, there's
your
no
brother.
yeah. I mean,
You
you're
know,
right.
It's not just here like you're born with it. My house was like 2 or 3 nights a week. It would be shaking with these violent fights, man. That didn't help.
No, I understand. You're right, Gordon. A lot of it is our upbringing has a lot to do with it, obviously. And I know, and I'm not saying
In fact, I was thinking about the other day, right? Because I used to get hit a lot, and man, I used to get in a lot of trouble. And man, I used to do some bad shit when I got. Oh, excuse me.
No.
Some bad
What's that?
stuff
No, this is you
when
can
I
do.
was older, and
Yeah.
when you get that bad stuff, that image of yourself as bad, when you're beaten, you're always yelled at, screamed at,
Yeah.
you're always in trouble. You start acting out that part to some extent,
Well,
I started to realize I did that.
Well, my
A
brother.
lot of that was going on with me in my 20s.
My brother did the
so,
same thing. My brother was the thing. He would do things just to get someone to get a to see how the reaction from someone, and it turned and he loved it, and he used to do that to my parents, and him and my father. My father would go at him, man. And he'd get that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so I understand that, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but look, we all lived that, that.
But
That's
one of the points I'm trying to make in that book, though, Ray, is that that there's a lot. It's easy to be a nice person when all the lights are green, everything's going well, but the task in life is to be able to be a good person when things are rough, when you're going through anxiety, depression, you're afraid, all kinds of things, right? Because it's going to happen to everybody, right? I mean, we're all going to have bad things are going to happen, man. And we still have to try to be good people.
That's life. That's life. You're absolutely right. Gordon, my amateur trainer used to say to me, it's a simple saying, but it's a God's truth. He said, Ray, you always got to remember, things aren't always going to be sunny, but you got to weather the storm. And that's life.
That's a good expression.
Yeah,
that's some wisdom.
That's life,
But weathering the storms means also being a decent person when you feel like crap.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny you said that, Gordon. I used to say about Alexis Arguello. I loved Alexis. And everyone used to say to me after our fight, oh my God, Ray, isn't he? What a great man, gentleman. And he is. And he was, and he is. Truly, he was a champion exonerified. Inside and outside the ring. He was the greatest. I love that man.
He had a lot of dignity. He was an amazing guy.
Very dignified. But I used to tell people, I said, but it ain't hard to be a bad guy when you're knocking everyone out. Right. I mean, how hard is it to be a good guy when you're knocking everyone out? It ain't hard to be a good guy.
It's easy to be generous when you're
it's easy to be.
It's
Easy to be generous. It's easy to be generous when your belly's full. It's easy to be generous when you got money in the bank.
Not for everybody, right? There's a whole bunch of pigs in this world.
Oh,
but
man.
It's not easy for you.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right.
But no, it should be. If it's not, you can't be decent when everything's going well. You're really in trouble, right?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's funny you said that. I tell people like this: you got to ride. I was riding away for a long time. Then things happened to me in my career, knocked me, kicked my behind, and knocked me on my ass. And then boom, I'm kissing pavement. But if you're gonna, like my father, if you're gonna ride the wave, you gotta be, you gotta be the same guy when you're kissing pavement than when you're on top of the road. I tried to remember that.
You gotta try.
My father said that.
You gotta be able to reach. Just like in boxing, you got to be able to reach for pain, man.
Oh, you ain't lying.
Hard.
Oh, you ain't lying. I tell people always say, how did you deal with the pain? I said, well, those punches hurt. I said, hurt? Man, they were excruciating. Sometimes I got hit with a body shot and I thought it was coming out my back. But how did you get through those? I said, because you got to take your mind to a different place. You take your mind to a whole different place. And whatever pain, if it's mental pain, emotional pain, physical pain, you got to take your mind to a different place. We control them.
But you also got to seek out other people. You need other people.
Yes.
Like you had a good corner there. You had people who cared about you.
I had great parents.
A lot of love there, right?
Yes, I had great parents.
And that helps us get to those times. We got to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to connect with others.
No, and I talked to everybody. I talked to my priest, Father Tim O'Neill. Everyone knows he was with me every fight. My parents helped me get through it. But eventually, I'll never forget. My mom cried to me. She said, "Raymond, I wish there was something that I could say." I said, "Ma, there's nothing you can."
That's saying a lot right there.
I said, "Mom, there's nothing you can say. I got to get through it on my own. I got to do this on my own." And she said, "No, you don't have to be on your own." I said, "Yeah, I do, because at that time, you get it from all the outside influences. You get it from all the But I needed to do it for me. I had to get through it myself, because I'm the one who's living with the pain inside. No matter what somebody tells
Yeah.
you on the outside, you got to go into that place, that deep, dark place. And that's why people
Oh, that's
say,
right, yeah.
and I tell people, I got through it through my power of my faith in Christ, my power of prayer. That's how I got through it. I
You
help
had
talking
people
to
that love you
friends.
too, Ray. You had a circle. You always had a circle around you. People love
Good
you.
people, yeah, I
you
had
know?
good people. I was very fortunate.
And there's some
Yeah.
people that don't have that. You know, it's really. You're right. You got to go through it yourself, but it's one thing to go through it on your own completely, and another thing to have a circle of love around you.
Right,
you know?
no, and I understand. I understand. Like you probably felt at that times when you were going through your darkest hours, you didn't have anybody around you, and I understand.
No, yeah.
You know, that's tough. That's tough. But you got through it,
Yeah.
obviously. Obviously, how did you get through it? Obviously, how did you get through it? Because obviously you came out the other side, doing pretty good.
Oh no, I'm still messed up, man.
No,
One of
man.
the chapters in the book is like, you know, I did all these devilish things when I was a kid, and I thought I was all through it. So, one of the chapters in the book I talk about my son's wedding a couple of years ago. I freaking got drunk and started a fight at his beautiful wedding reception.
Oh, then you must be from Youngstown.
You know,
'Cause
the
they-
thing was, I thought I left all those demons behind. You never leave them. They're there. You got to watch
Oh,
it. You know?
no. You're
know what I
right.
mean?
Oh, no. You're right. You're right. You're always carrying with you. That's like the angel and the devil on the shoulder, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's an appropriate image, isn't it?
Hey.
But you think, oh, I got the devil all tied up now, and I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
you know?
no.
So,
Oh man!
You know.
And when you're weakest, he's going to call on you. And you're going weakest, he's going to call on you. Hey, you must be from Youngstown, because only in Youngstown, every wedding I ever went to Youngstown, there's a fight. Turns out there's a fight, because it ain't a Youngstown wedding unless there's a fight. Jesus, man! Oh God, you can't believe it, right?
yeah.
But
It's the drinking, man. It's the drinking that did me in that night. I started yelling at my sons, going, "Oh my God, Dad, what are you doing?"
yeah, well,
I said, "Shut up," you know.
yeah, of course. Gordon, now go
And then he
back.
puts his arms around me the next day and tries to, and says, "Don't worry about it, Dad." I said, "Get away from me. Get away from me." Don't I didn't do anything wrong. Then I finally woke up.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, that's for sure.
Accept forgiveness, you know.
Well, you just said everyone. It's funny you could say said that. I always tell people the hardest thing for me when I was going through the darkest times of my life, especially when I was going through my divorce. I went through my divorce and I blame myself for so many things that look. Always tell people it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street, never a one-way street. You know,
Right.
the partner, the other side, they got to take some of the blame. I'm not saying you blame them. That's not. But
Right.
whatever
I
gets,
know what you mean.
whatever gets you to that point, I blame myself. I did things. I caused problems for myself. I caused pain in my life. I don't blame nobody else but me. But when you're involved in relationships and they don't work for whatever reason, I'll take 90% of the blame. They got to take 10. But like they said, like I always said, I got 90% cancer. You got 10% cancer. What difference does it make? We both got cancer. And then the old saying, no one takes a little bit of cancer to kill you. Don't take much.
That's right.
Don't take much.
That's
So
true.
and unfortunately, that's what happens in relationships. And like I said, I'll take the blame of my failed marriage. I'll take most of the blame for that. But it's a two-way street. In relationships, they're never one way. So.
No, that's
Anyhow.
good. That's good.
But let me go back to the fight for one second. What do you think about a third fight? I said it
Now we're
has
going
to
back
happen.
to the fight. First we're talking relationship. Not back to
Yeah, we'll go relationships and go back. See, that's the thing about this show, Gordon. I'm all over the joint. I bounce. See,
I'm only jabbing you, baby.
yeah, that's it. I'm just setting them up for the right hand. No, see, we're all over the place. We're bouncing around, man. That's the thing. Keeps it interesting. People are falling. They thought they were getting lulled into one, and then they jump back to the other. But because I know the only reason I'm jumping because I'd rather talk to what we're talking about now. I'd rather do.
go ahead.
But because you're a very wise man, and you're very deep, and I mean that in the best sense. Deep, and there's not too many people that are deep. I consider deep, but you're a deep son of a gun.
appreciate that,
No, and I mean that sincerely. But part of it's because you lived it, and you can only write about it when you live. People can only write about experiences. I tell people, look, I could talk about experiences that I've heard about, read about, but unless you live it and see it and lived it a little bit, it's hard to talk about. So like I said, in my own life, I went through it. My daughter, my mother. And I understand. I wish I had understood back then. I wish I'm more patient with my mother. I wasn't, at the times I should have been. Even with my daughter, I didn't understand at the times, and I wish I was.
Mm-hmm.
You love your children unconditionally. You love them the best you can, and and then, but man, you mess up and you say, but I wish all the good things, how much I love them. hopefully that makes up for all the mistakes you made. You know what I mean? And
But you
they
gotta tell
understand.
him. But you say if you think you made a mistake, you tell him.
Oh, and I did. Oh, I did. I never had no problem
I'm sure you
calling
did,
them. And they understood that. And you know,
Yeah.
I know
That
my
means a
kids
lot,
forgive me. I know
doesn't
my
it?
kids forgive
Yeah,
me.
it means a lot, right?
I know my kids forgive me, and you know,
Yeah.
I did some stupid, you know, said.
You know what's really hard though, Ray? You ever, the other night, my first wife was a heroin addict, and she got off heroin for quite a while, and then went back on. And I didn't react too well when she came in the house one night. She was on heroin, and I don't know where she might be dead now. I don't know, you know. But to have, you know, I could have been a lot more understanding. And I was just thinking, man, how painful it is when you wish you could say you're sorry to someone who's dead and they're not there.
No.
You know, that if you have regrets, to voice them now rather than the way, you know, because there's a certain time when you can't even say you're sorry. You know?
No, and you're right.
That's what I mean. At that time, I wish I had been more patient than the way I acted.
No, I know. Gordon, you
it's so
said
painful when you've done something wrong and you can't. The person's gone.
and you can't make up for it. And that's
Nope.
no. I understand it too well. I understand it too well, and that's why I said I just, you know, you pray and hope that you can make up for it some way, another way with another person. Maybe you know you don't get. I'm not the guy I was back then. I mean,
That's right.
you know, I was like thought of myself as a good father. I was a good husband, but there was a period of time I went through a little dark time. Business wasn't happening the way I wanted, and things were, you know, and things were, you know, just business more for business. And I always said, never take business home with you. And I tried to live that rule until I didn't. I tried to live that rule until I didn't. And then when it didn't, and then there's no harmony in the house. There's no harmony.
Right.
And when you got no harmony, you know, what do you got? I mean, because things always gonna be, things aren't always gonna be sunny. Everyone's not gonna always be happy. That would be, you know, jump around. But leave the little harmony. There's no, you know.
Yeah, you're right. The harmony is different than
happiness, you know, and joy.
That's
not
gonna
always
have
be
bad
joy.
weather too.
And and it just and I brought that into my home for a period of time, and man, and like you said, it took me a long time to forgive myself. And the greatest thing is to be able to forgive oneself, but it took me a long time. And I tell people, man, when I talk to people now, you gotta learn to forgive yourself, man. A friend of mine, here's how I learned. A friend of mine said to me, we were at lunch one time, and I was going through and I was talking, and repeating the same stuff he had heard. He said, look, Raymond, you told me the same thing now that you told me last week, that you told me a month ago. He says, look, I'll listen to you. But man, he said, change the record. He said, look, I forgive you. God forgives you. But man, you got to forgive yourself. And it hit me
You got to accept forgiveness.
And
I don't believe in it. I think the self-forgiveness stuff, I think it's more of, you got to let things go. It doesn't help to keep torturing yourself. But
no.
I don't think we can forgive. I can't forgive somebody who's mugged somebody else. You know, it's like third-party forgiveness. You can't do it. So I don't know how I can forgive myself for something I did to somebody else, but I cannot torture myself about it and try to be a better person.
That's it.
You know, I can repent and try to be a better person.
That's all we could do.
That's,
you know?
and just keep torturing yourself doesn't do shit, right?
No, it don't. It don't. You know.
But I thought you were getting back to the fight. Now you're flipping it around.
Well, Bob said you say now we're talking about that. Okay, here's last thing. Third fight. It's got to happen,
I
right?
gotta go coach football now.
Oh, you got to go coach football. I'm gonna let you go ahead, but it's a real third fight. It's got to happen.
No, I want to hear this one.
I said no. The third fight's got to happen. I said it's got to happen.
I think so. Don't you think so?
Absolutely, but here's what I said. Gordon. I don't know if you agree with me. I don't think it's gonna happen right away, and I think Golden Boy will pull it off for a little while again because they want Triple G to even get older. And I'm telling you, the one thing is that's why I'm not a fan of that promotional company. I tell you right now, for me, Bob Arum and Don King would have known no matter what. This is the time to bring it back. Bring it right back, right? Yeah. I don't want to hear let it marinate. I don't want to hear let it marinate no more. It's not as only marinate, it's overcooked. It's cooked, it's marinated, it's cooked, it's overcooked.
That's true. Overcooked could be.
Hey,
right.
There's still 24 rounds, really no separation. One was a bullshit draw.
That's right.
One was they called it bullshit. I don't agree with the decision now, but let's come back with a third one. Let's get the definitive.
There's people saying we've seen enough. It was a terrific fight. Do it again.
Let's do it again.
Right. And
where are they going to make the more money only with each other? Where are you going to make the most money? You're going to make it with each other. So let's see it happen. Let's see it happen, and I hope it does. It's got to. But let's not wait and don't let it marinate. It's overcooked. Let's get it going right back out.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good.
Hey,
We agree.
I appreciate it. Gordon, I can't thank you for your time.
Thanks so much,
We're going to come back. We'll talk about it.
Appreciate it.
I'll bring you back on next time about another big fight. We'll come back on. We'll talk about
sounds
it.
great, Ray.
Thank you so much for your
Good,
time.
man.
Thank you so much. God bless. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. My friend Gordon Marino. Man, he's just a great guy. Great guy. Hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did because, as I say, he is one deep son of a gun. He lived it. He lived it. He wrote about it, and he's a wonderful one. And as you said, he's a professor. So, Vike, were you listening to that? Because
I was.
Because you can't hear it over there because you.
I was.
Oh, okay, my man. Because let me tell you something. Because my man went through. He lived it. So, but anyhow, let's talk about the fight again real fast. Talk about the roundup of the fight. Then we'll talk about other stuff and bring my brother Vike into it because my brother Vike was been MIA for a few weeks, so we're gonna bring him back into the fold.
Okay. Well, I missed what last Thursday.
Yeah, it's all. I know, 'cause I was away before that. I got it.
Yeah, I was off. I took a couple of vacation days.
Of course.
I was half in the bag.
Enjoy. But one of the things that so did we play this past weekend, and for the fight.
Okay.
And again, I watched it intensely, and again, I didn't change my mind much about too many things. There were some swing rounds, that were close swing rounds. Maybe that round could have been Canelo, or that round could have been Triple G in the middle of the fight. But the outcome was the same. I had a 115, 113, 7-5. As I said, originally I had Triple G winning the first 4, give Canelo the next 5, and then I had Triple G winning the last 3. Originally, that's how I had it. I still have the same score. It's just maybe there was a one round in that middle that Triple G won. Maybe the 4th round and Canelo. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? It was too close, but the rounds were close. Good fight. And I said I don't think it was a great fight. I thought it was a good fight. Very good fight. It needs to be a third one. We talked about that. They need to have a third one because there's still too much controversy. I don't want no controversy. I want it pretty much laid out for me in the ring. And that's what I said. I don't care about whatever you say about my career. I put out there, I'd rather either you're getting carried out or I'm getting carried out.
Yeah.
And so that was my intention. That was the best. I don't want no dispute. Either you win or I win.
I gotta ask. Do you think most decisions somebody's not gonna be happy with?
Of course. And I think
in other words, unless you get a knockout or a TKO, somebody's gonna complain about
Yeah,
the decision.
right. You're right, Vike. I mean, most people are not. But that fight was so disputable, and you're gonna get both sides come in. Both promoters saying, we thought we won, and so on. Tom Loeffler, I thought he made a comment that may come back to bite him in the ass later on. He said, I don't know what we got to do. I don't know if we can ever get a decision here in Las Vegas. Yeah, I think, Tom, you could. I think you will. And I know it hasn't happened for you in his last 2 fights. But I just, I mean, Tom, you're my guy. So I hope, bring Triple G back again, Las Vegas. But, that you say that, so you're basically putting the commission, box commission, no matter on blast, saying, hey, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a decision here because obviously you ain't doing your job the way these last 2 fights went. But, and I'm not saying he's wrong. So, also, if you watch the replay at the end, and this was if you remember, Joe, last Thursday, I said, Jim Lampley said, before they went up there, when he was doing a replay of the fight, at the end, he said what I said. He said, don't look for a third fight to happen anytime soon. And I was saying I should come back. He said, don't look for it to happen anytime soon. And I said that these guys will try to let it marinate.
Yeah.
That's the word I want. Let it marinate.
Get some flavor.
Yes. But I don't agree. As you just said, it's overcooked. It's done. It's overdone. Bring it right back. When Leonard Duran fought the first fight, great fight, terrific fight. Boom. Let's do it. They did it again 5 months later. But that was June. They fought in November. Most big fights come right back.
Right. It's got to be fresh.
Right. Look. And so we were talking the other day when we were talking about the great trilogies, the great trilogies, and I mentioned a few of them. One of them I forgot to mention because I mentioned, we talk about the Bobby. We had Bobby Chacon was on there a few times, but we talk about the great trilogy fights. Zell, Graziano, Ali Frazier, to me is best. Barrera, Morales. But now, there's fights that they've had quadruple fights. Four of them, and they were great fights. So let me read off some of these great fights, quadruple fights. Manny Pacquiao and Juan Marquez. They fought 4 times. The first one was a controversial draw. Second fight, Manny Pacquiao won by a split decision. Controversial also. Third fight, he won by majority decision. Very controversial. All fights, they were all so close. And then the last fight, what happened, Manny's winning the fight, and he runs into that right hand and gets knocked out dead in the 7th round. And Marquez knocked him out cold. They want to come back. Manny wanted to come back and do it a 5th time. Marquez won't do it. He wants to have that undisputed knockout over.
Yeah.
So,
go out at the top of your game, as
but
they
all
say.
of them were wars. All of them were wars. They were so evenly matched. Another one, the great Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez. Juan Manuel Marquez's brother. Juan Manuel Marquez versus Manny Pacquiao. It was a great quadruple fight. And then Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez fought 4 times also, and they split 2-2. The first fight, Rafael Marquez won by 7th round TKO. He busted Vasquez's nose up. Next fight came back. Vasquez won in the 7th. He won in the 6th round TKO over Marquez. The third fight, Israel Vasquez won again, a split decision. I'm sorry. It was a third. Split decision. The third fight, Vasquez won by split decision. And the 4th fight was a 3rd round KO for Rafael Marquez. So, 4 fights, 4 great fights. So again, Marquez won the first one by TKO in the 7th. Israel Vasquez won the 2nd by TKO in the 6th. The 3rd fight was Vasquez by split decision, and the 4th fight was Marquez by 3rd round KO. The great Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler had 4 great fights, but controversial. The first fight, Sandy Sadler won by 4th round knockout. The second fight, Willie Pep won by 15 round decision. The third fight, Sadler won by Willie separated his shoulder during the fight, so he stopped him in the 7th round. And then in the last fight, it was a TKO in the 9th round for Sandy Sadler, and Willie Pep was ahead on all cards at that time. So these have been a lot of great fights. That not only the trilogy, they did 4 fights. And
cool.
The last one, Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Limon, Rafael Bazooka Limon. The first fight was a draw. The second fight was a technical draw. They cut each other in technical draw. The third fight, so the first fight was a decision. I'm sorry. The first fight was a decision, and Limon won a decision. Rafael Bazooka Limon won the first fight. Second fight was a technical draw. They're both busted up, but technical decision. So it didn't go to either one.
You see that? I sometimes wonder how you manage to stay so pretty.
Yes, my man. I made a miss once in a while. Right? The third fight, Chacon won by decision. And the 4th fight, Bobby Chacon was behind, and he dropped him in the 15th round, and he came back and he won because it was a very close fight. It was very close. Most judges had it even going into that last round, and he dropped Bazooka Limon in the 15th round and got this won a decision. So again, 4 great fights between Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Limon. So there are many fighters that do it 4 times. So let's just hope these guys will do it 3 times. But we talked about 3 trilogies, and there was the quadruple fights that we just talked about now between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez, Israel Vasquez, Rafael Marquez, Sadler Pep, Chacon Limon. Great fights. So, also, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I want to do a couple quick shout-outs, Ray.
Yeah.
Mark Catline says this is the best Boom Boom Room discussion ever.
Thank you.
And Jeff
Thank
Blackstone agreed. Donna Morris said hi. So did Terry Medicus Clark. Jim Burkhart's in the house, of course. Steve Seville.
Steve Stabile.
Stabile. There you go. I gotta work on my Italian.
He's Stabile. He goes, but I'm giving him his righteous Stabile.
Ralph Fajak is in here as well.
My man, Ralph. Stay sassy. Stay sassy.
Some guy named Joe Danier watching too.
Stay sassy. My man, Ralph, you're the best. Hey, Ralph, we're gonna talk. I actually call you Ralph, so I'm gonna be chatting you up soon. But my man, Ralph, stay sassy. Yeah, Ralph, we talked about Ward Gotti. Oh man, that ain't what I'm doing.
You turned yourself on, didn't you?
I turned myself off, man. How do I turn myself off? Okay.
Don't turn me on again. I just can't face myself alone again.
We talked about the Arturo Gotti, Mickey Ward trilogy the other day. If you were listening, you would have known that, Ralph. You were missed out. No, I did talk about great trilogies, and I did. And we just talked about it again. You're right. They were one of the best trilogies. I mentioned my top 6 trilogies of all time, and I said Ward and Gotti were 3, Barrera and Morales were 2, and then Ollie Frazier. And I put Ollie Frazier 1 because of the significance of those 3 fights. The first fight was probably the greatest. We talked about again, the greatest, not just sporting event of all time. Greatest. It was great. Joe, what was I talking about? We talked, not historical. What were we talking about, Joe? We were talking about the first fight. My mind's the first Ollie Frazier. The first Ollie Frazier. It was that was only the greatest sporting event of all time.
Right.
But cultural event. It's probably the greatest cultural event. Right up there with Woodstock.
Sure.
And Monterey Music Festival. Those 3.
And
Woodstock.
And the Super Bowl where the Jets won.
Well, yeah, I mean, those are sporting events, but they're cultural events, yeah. But culturally, Woodstock, Ollie Frazier won in the Monterey Music Festival. They're right there. But you're right. Super
Bowl is the one that kind of put the Super Bowl into the cultural consciousness.
That's true. You're absolutely right. See, Mike, man, I knew I needed you here for something.
I got a couple brain cells left, bro.
But anyhow, so that's what we were talking about. But Ralph, appreciate you listening. Stay sassy, as you say.
Sassy.
Stay sassy. What else we got on there? I'm trying to get on there.
Spicy.
I can't get on because if I do it, I don't want to hear myself. Who else we got? 36 coming. But anyhow, okay. So now the fights this weekend. Saw a fight on DAZN, DAZN, DAZN. It's a streaming. It's a streaming service on Facebook, and the fight this weekend, Anthony Joshua fought Alexander Povetkin, which I thought was a very good fight. But Joshua came out, knocked him out in the 7th round. Povetkin came out, smaller guy, but Joshua, I told you, is technically sound. If him and Wilder ever fight, Wilder is a guy, he comes out, he goes for broke, he's entertaining, he throws caution into the wind, which makes it interesting, and he can punch like son of a gun. And then you got Joshua, who's more of a technician, more of the stylist, traditionalist, but punch like son of a gun. So that makes for a great fight. But Povetkin rattled Joshua the first round with an uppercut. He kept throwing that right hand over the top of the jab. He was catching him. He was banging that body. He was fighting smart. But the thing that Joshua does, he does well, uses his height and created a space. He's created space with that jab, long jab on Povetkin. And little by little, creating space. And I know that better than anyone because when I fought Aguayo, I was right on top of him, banging that, couldn't give him room for his punches, Joe, until later on. But Lex is so smart. Throws that jab, bangs that jab, and he creates that space for himself. So little by little, I was making a miss, but I was stepping back, sliding back. So creating that space. So even though he's not hitting it, he's doing what he wants, creating space. And then the 12th round, I made him miss 100 right hands all night. Only takes one. And boom, caught me with it.
Just patience.
Yeah, that's what made him a great artist and great technician and great fighter that he was. Yeah. Great champion that he was. But that's what Anthony Joshua did against Povetkin. Creating space with that jab, creating space, and boom, caught him at the end of it. And he dropped him hard a couple of times. But Povetkin fought as good as you can get, But these heavyweights now, the tall heavyweights, it's hard, man, to reach that chin. So you don't go for the chin. You got to bang that body. Mm-hmm. And he was. But Povetkin is he's not the hardest guy in the world to miss either. He stands straight up like a traditional European fighter, but he's, good, strong puncher. good fighter, very good fighter. And but he got knocked out in the 7th round by Anthony Joshua in front of 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium. This is the difference we're talking about. We're talking about Joshua fighting Wilder. Wilder wants him to come here. If you're a true champion, you go there. Well, 80,000 people. You're gonna get paid to come over there.
It's freaking Wembley.
They're gonna pay you to go over there. And it says Wembley, 80,000. Man, you're never gonna get that. You got that 80,000 combined right now.
In one of the most famous stadiums on the planet.
Oh, that's right. And we're a lot of great champions. And if you're a true champion, you travel. You travel.
You go where the fight is.
If you believe it, you go where the money is. And so look, the next 4 fights you're gonna get in front of it. In another 5 fights you're gonna get in front of 80,000 people. So come on now. Let's make it happen. Joshua. Now Wilder's gonna fight. He's fighting Tyson Fury in December 1. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be crazy. The build up to the fight's gonna be more interesting than the fight, I actually think, because Fury talks a lot. So does Wilder. That should for me the press conference will be more entertaining than the actual fight. So there you go. But so yeah, there we go with that one.
What's that going to be on again?
That's going to be on. I think that's supposed to be Showtime.
Okay.
That's a Showtime.
Might have
be Showtime pay-per-view.
Might have to try to talk DirecTV into giving me a Showtime.
Yeah.
For the weekend
for
free.
The week, right?
Try
exactly.
it out.
That's
wait,
right.
Wait.
Try it right.
Because I'm a cheapskate.
Oh, hey, look, DAZN is a streaming service. I watched the fight. It's a pretty good. They got a lot of good fights coming up, and we know that Eddie Hearn has a deal with them, so he's putting a lot of fights on that. And so, if you want to follow some of his fighters, there you go. But I also know that my friends over at PBC, Premier Boxing Champions.
Okay.
They made that deal with. We talked about the other day. They made the deal with Fox Sports, and Fox Sports 1, and they also got fights on Showtime. So they're going to be doing a lot of fights this year. A lot of fights going on. I think what I like about being on Fox Sports and Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports is it's a regular channel now. Sure, it used to be ABC, CBS. When I was fighting,
we watch them all the time.
CBS, then NBC got involved, and of course ABC was a leader when Ali, Duran, and Monzon, the fights in the 70s. There was only like 1 a quarter, but that's where you watched them at. Then when I started fighting, CBS got involved, and they want to showcase the lightweights. Like I said, I hit the juggernaut with that one, and then NBC came out with the 1980 Olympics, when we did go Olympics. All those guys, they had Tomorrow's Champions on NBC. They signed a big deal with them. So that was one in the 80s. That was the greatest time for boxing over the last 60 years. But I've said this before, when Al Heyman come back, he was put on network television. You gotta like that. You gotta love that. So now he's made the deal with Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1, and Showtime. So they're gonna be doing a lot with the Fox Sports.
And those Fox Sports channels are big. They got a lot of good stuff on there. Liz and I watch them all the time.
They do MMA. So anybody listening from Fox Sports, pay attention. My man Vike watches you. Joe, you watch? No. Yes, you do. I'm watching this.
All right.
Yes. Vike watches. I watch. Believe me, and there'll be a lot to watch this coming year, starting with they made a deal with Al Heyman, PBC made a deal with Fox Sports 1. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be a lot of good fights coming up.
So I miss a lot of good fights because I'm a cheapskate and I don't get the pay-per-views.
No, it's not a cheapskate. It's just like I understand. Hey, Well, everybody, you know what? I was gonna go ahead.
You got a rant planned?
Not a rant. I didn't have a rant this time.
Okay, because if you wanted what I was going to trigger one.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you what you think about that new roughing the quarterback rule.
There you go. Anybody watches, I do usually have a rant, but I think it's horse gaga.
Yeah.
It really is horse gaga. Because,
it's crap.
Horse gaga.
They're trying to make that league unwatchable, bro.
Watch it. Here we go. Radio gaga. Remember that song, Radio Gaga?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot of gaga.
Radio caca.
Yeah, come on. And, look. And you got the same guy, Clay Matthews. He didn't lift him. I mean, he's right. What do you think these guys got to do? They would have thrown Dick Butkus, who never played in the NFL, Ray Schnitschke, Mike Singletary.
None of those guys.
No,
Jack Lambert.
Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'll put it to you this way, man. I hate Clay Matthews. I hate the Green Bay Packers.
No, Clay Matthews.
But I gotta say, the guy's right. That was BS.
No, man.
And I'm a Packer hater. I'm agreeing with the guy.
oh, you're a Vikings guy. No. But you can't.
Seriously, all right?
You can't hate the play. I just hate the game.
How many, last night in the Pittsburgh game, how many roughing the passers were there?
I watched
There were several. I didn't watch the game, but somebody was telling me there were several. I fell asleep. My wife's the Yinzer,
It's a lot of horse cock. It really is a lot of horse cock because, look, Playmatch did not. He's doing his job, and then he's getting fined. Here's the thing: they get the roughing the passer. How many times it's going to cause? It's going to cause a game to come down to that play, and it's going to go the other way. And I'm going to tell you, man, the sport of football is not going to be
Ray, can you imagine if they'd have told you before a fight, okay, you like when they're giving you the instructions in the center of the ring, and the referee said, okay, you can hit him, but you can't hit him too hard.
Yeah, right.
What?
Right, exactly.
Get another profession.
If it turns his head, that's a penalty on you. I mean, you're right. No, I mean, look, he did the classic. He didn't pick him up. He ran him, put his head to the side, drove him down.
Clean tackle.
You can't. Where you gonna go? You gotta land on top and roll right off.
How you not gonna put your weight on the guy?
Look, the NFL. NFL again. Next to the NCAA, NCAA is the most Ku Klux organization there is. And the NFL ain't too far behind. They pick and choose who they want to give it to. These penalties and these fines too. Look, right now, Clay Matthews is one of the best defensive players in the league.
No question.
And you can't keep this guy trying to change his game, and it's not going to. So what's going to happen? He's going to get penalized. Then he's keep getting fined. What happens then? Look, we know we've talked about the sissification of America. We've talked about that. We talked about the sissification of our children in schools.
Don't skin your knee. Don't get a bruise.
We talked about, if you scold your child, you can't yell at your child. The child could go and they could threaten you. We call them
give your kid a swat. You're going to turn him into a serial killer. What are you doing?
Children's services,
it's sick.
It's just DC. You can't. The part of children's service, DCS is, believe me, not somebody you want to deal with. I'm just saying, man. These guys pick it out. Either playing professional football when you ain't. Pick and choose what rules you want to have, because I tell you, the NFL, and you got to look. I usually stick for the umpires and referees because they usually get a lot of crap thrown at them.
It's a tough job.
But it is. But man, you got to start holding them responsible for their actions. They got to be, they got to be held negligent for stuff like that, and you got to find them. If they go back and find out that it was a mistake, find them.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, it's terrible what's going on in pro sports. Let's just let it happen, man. Let the games happen. There's enough penalties that are outright penalties and outright disqualifications or things that qualify for disqualifications and penalties. Let's let the game happen.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, that's it for us and for me tonight. I don't have a rant. But what was it? I'm gonna give you a quote. I was gonna give a quote. I have a quote. But do you remember? Did you see the movie Scarface with Al Pacino?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah.
And there's a line he says in this, and this I didn't. He says, I only got two things in this world. I only got two things in this world. My word and my balls. And I don't break them for nobody. Right? Only two things I got in this world. My word and my balls. I don't break them for nobody. That's my, oh yeah. But you know what? You thought that was a great line from a movie, right?
Yeah.
You know who said it? They put it, because a lot of people don't know who said it. You know who originally said that? Al Capone. That's an Al Capone line.
No kidding.
Al Capone originally said that.
That's perfectly typical,
yeah. Al Capone said that line. So they used it for the movie and obviously wrote it. Who knows? Unless Al Capone quotes. There ain't no great Al Capone quotes. But Al Capone was the first one to say that.
Speaking of Capone and whatnot, did you ever see Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah.
With Buscemi? You watched that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a wonderful show that it captures that whole period, man, like crazy.
Yeah.
Love that show.
Yeah. You know where they shot that? Soundstage in Toronto.
No kidding.
Yeah, they must have shot in the boardwalk.
Do a lot of Toronto now.
A lot of CGI. Oh no, there have been in the '80s. That Toronto, that's why we get all the incentives now, all the tax incentives, because Canada, Vancouver, and Toronto killed us. So everybody want to go to the West Coast. You want the West Coast, you go to Vancouver. You want the East Coast, you come near. But Toronto, every movie star looked like Toronto after a while. But the point being is, now, but that movie they did CGI.
I
Now
did
shot
not-
Toronto almost that.
I
Everyone
did
thought it was
not
shot in
know that.
yeah. Everyone thought it
Because
was
they did the art direction on that show is phenomenal.
unbelievable.
I mean, the costumes and the sets and everything.
But
is
if you think
phenomenal.
about it, you couldn't do the weather, because they did a lot of outdoor shots. And a lot of outdoor shots, during the Jersey Shore. You ain't gonna agree with you, like most, for doing a series. So they had to shoot it where a place where the weather.
Now,
would
my favorite character on that show is the FBI guy that goes crazy.
I can't remember.
And I can't think of the actor's name, but he starts out an FBI agent. He winds up like selling like electric irons door to door.
Oh, I know.
and he
Yes,
flips
do
out,
that. Yes,
and
yes.
He winds up
yes.
working
I know
for,
exactly what you're talking
for
about.
Bugsy Moran.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Terrific actor, and I
I
can't
can't think of his name. My wife would know it in a minute.
Just look at Boardwalk Empire. You'll see his name. You'll see him. But
Oh, I can use my Google machine.
so look, if I do that for a few seconds, and then I'm going to say goodbye. We got a few minutes, but again, everyone, thank you for listening to another round of the Boom Boom Room. I hope you found hopefully you found it educational in some ways. Hopefully you found it funny, but more than anything, we got to be entertaining. If we ain't entertaining, why are we doing it? So until then,
Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon, that's his name. He's a
Thank
good
you.
actor, terrific actor. Michael Shannon. Give props out to Michael Shannon. And until the next time, take care of each other, you love each other. Good night and God bless.